What's going on YouTube? My name is Batman, and I wanted to make a quick video talking about the Evolve DLC controversy, because in that review video I made, a lot of people seemed to be genuinely pissed off at me for not being upset about the Evolve DLC plan after I had caused such a ruckus regarding the Destiny DLC plan. But I don't think it would be fair to criticize Evolve in the same way, and at the risk of offending someone, I think the entire controversy itself is a misunderstanding and has been since its conception. And it's important that we don't use our criticisms haphazardly. Because when we unleash the full force of our rage on subjects that don't deserve it, then our rage and criticism will mean less to one another, and more importantly to publishers and developers, the next time we want to unleash it on a target that actually matters. It's important to pick your battles. If we get upset about everything, nobody will take us seriously when we get upset about anything. And Evolve is just not the game to stake out this fight, especially because if we call it out Evolve in the same way we called out Destiny, then sooner or later Destiny gets a free pass because, hey, plenty of other games are doing it too, but that's just not the case. Evolve's DLC plan is actually much more generous than most other AAA titles on the market right now, and I'll explain why. And we can make a comparison to Destiny. Imagine if the first two expansion packs in Destiny, all of the playable content in the Dark Below and the House of Wolves, was free. Then you would have Evolve's DLC plan, right? Because what you're primarily getting with those Destiny expansion packs, excluding the trivial new gear or RNG loot, is new maps or new environments to do combat in, and the new bosses and or new enemies to fight, right? That's what is contained within those $20 a pop Destiny expansion packs. In Evolve, you're getting an equivalent amount of content for free. All of the new DLC maps will be free. Presumably those new maps will have some new, types of AI wildlife or what have you. And on top of that, because they aren't separating the DLC players from the vanilla players, even if you don't buy any DLC, you still get to fight new bosses and new human enemies. When you buy the DLC, which is not currently available, what you'll get is new monsters and new hunters that you get to play as. But the vanilla players still get to compete against those DLC owners using the new monsters and new characters. It's just that only the DLC owners can play them. So as a vanilla player, you get the fresh experience of fighting new bosses and new enemies, new human hunters, new AI wildlife, on new maps in new environments for free, which is the exact same deal Destiny is giving you except for $20 a pop. The big difference being that in Destiny, the new boss and the new enemies are controlled by AI, whereas in Evolve, they are controlled by a human player, which in my opinion makes the experience itself that much more interesting and that much more fresh. And that's not to say, maybe you'll still prefer Destiny DLC to Evolve DLC. That's not to say anything about your preference, about the substance of the content itself. But the business plan, I don't think, is as morally reprehensible as people have been calling it out to be. And that's not to say I think they're necessarily doing this out of the kindness of their hearts, giving everyone all this stuff for free. I think they know that this game's population is going to be pretty small. From the beginning, I think they knew this game is designed for a hardcore but relatively small group of players who will really adore this game. That's the thing about this game. It's not going to be super popular, but the people who do like it, you talk to someone who does like it, they really like it. But because that population is going to be small to begin with, they don't want to start cutting it up even further into DLC and non-DLC owners, right? And so the result is that vanilla players get a bunch of stuff for free. Now, the day one DLC is all just skins. It's gun camos and special suits that your characters and monsters can put on, but it's all 100% cosmetic. There's no pay-to-win aspect. The vanilla owners aren't missing out on any new experience, and in fact, because you get to play with, anyone who does own those skins, if they're using those skins when you play with them, that, in theory, adds to your experience in a minor way, right? Like you get to see a different looking monster or different looking characters or whatever. Not that that's a huge deal. It's not a huge deal, period. In fact, this isn't the kind of stuff that I would recommend buying. I think cosmetic DLC is a painful waste of money, just like I think it's a pointless waste of money to buy Call of Duty gun camos and stuff like that. But I don't think the primary purpose of this cosmetic DLC was to milk people on day one. All of the skins available were part of an aggressive pre-order incentive package. So depending on where you pre-ordered the game, you would have gotten a huge chunk of these cosmetic DLC items for free. And it was different depending on where you pre-ordered. So like if you got it off the Xbox digital store, you got these 5 skins. If you pre-ordered at GameStop, you got these other 5 skins, and so on. And including them in the store seems to just be a way for anyone who didn't pre-order, who perhaps fell in love with the game after it came out. Well, if they see some of those skins and they decide they want them too, then they have the possibility to acquire them even if they didn't pre-order. Because there are some people who are into that cosmetic DLC stuff. I'm assuming there must be a lot of people when you look at just how much cosmetic stuff there is in all games these days. But I don't think this pre-order incentive package is nearly as bad as like when Borderlands the pre-sequel included a whole piece of DLC, the Shock Drop Slaughter Pit, whatever it was. They included that as a pre-order bonus, and then I wasn't able to play it because I bought day one. I don't think it's big as deal as when Call of Duty includes an entire map as a pre-order bonus, and nobody ever got very upset about either of those things. Now, the future Evolve DLC is perhaps overpriced. You got $15 for a monster. And I wouldn't blame you for not buying it, but there's a difference between, you know, a substantive reason not to purchase a certain product based on its price and the moral outrage that people seem to be directing towards Evolve. Frankly, as far as DLC sins go, Evolves are pretty tame. And my best guess is that the DLC being overpriced and the cosmetic skins milking microtransaction stuff is their attempt to cover the costs and still turn a profit on developing all the new maps that they're going to give out for free, right? Because they have to build those, but they don't get any money for those. It'd be one thing if this Day 1 DLC was produced at the expense of the vanilla player, but the vanilla player isn't missing out on anything. And ironically, in the long run, the vanilla player is going to get a lot more free shit from this game than any other game. So I humbly encourage you to hold your fire on this particular target. If their ultimate goal was to milk everyone for their money, they would have made this game a lot more friendly to casuals than it presently is. JS. The For the Win query of the day is this. Should Evolve include Pokemon skins for their monsters that change when they evolve, right? So they have a Pikachu skin, and when the monster evolves, he turns into Raichu. And if so, what Pokemon do you think they should use? Please rate the video. This is Batman, signing out.